Today, we are going beyond the studio on the Tom Joyner Morning Show and blackamericaweb.com for Tom Joyner TV with Gloria Govan. Good morning.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? You have got a ton of stuff going on.
I do.
You have a cookbook coming out. You have a movie coming out. But first, let us talk Basketball Wives. Yeah, I know. So, I mean, we're used to there being drama. I mean, obviously, that's kind of built into the show. But tell us a little bit, because they kind of cleaned house on the LA edition of Basketball Wives. What happened?
In terms of, I can't really speak for the other ladies, but for me, the producers and I were never on the same page since day one. I kind of explained to them that I wasn't going to put Matt on the show, and we both agreed. We made a conscious decision to keep our relationship out of the spotlight this season. And, came around and, bit me in the butt a little bit. We got married. It was very spontaneous, very sporadic. We barely got my family there. I think they just felt like they were left out of that part of my life, and I let them know very clear as day that was going to be the case since day one. I'm not surprised, honestly. I'm just a little bit more upset on the way that they did it. I mean, I found out on TMZ with the rest of the world. I was like, Matt woke me up and was like, "Hey, you got fired, right?" I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, here." He pulled up the article for me, and I was like, "Oh," So it was just I felt like was a little disrespectful. And then internally they started saying that wasn't true, but I think they're just using us now to get me on the reunion show and to continue to start tweeting about the show, because they don't promote for the show at all. So it was just I felt like just a little disrespectful, because they could have done it a little classier, I think.
But in all fairness, I mean, your relationship has been talked about for a long time, and it's been going back and forth, and there's been some issues there. So what happened in your relationship that got everything straightened out?
Well, we kind of, this year, we just kept it up. We just kept it between Matt and I. Last year we allowed people in, and you guys saw our breakup, and I understood that the audience probably wanted to see us getting back together, which we were fine with that. But that's not what the show was about. They didn't necessarily want us to, they wanted us to show everything. And it was like, we will give you a little bit of it, but this time we're just not going to, open all of the doors. And I felt like, that was the right decision. I mean, we're happily married now, and, it was the right decision for me and my family. Not necessarily for TV, obviously, but for me and my family, it's just what we decided to do. And you're right. I mean, we have opened the doors before, and and that's what caused our breakup, and that's what caused our family to split. So we were like, maybe we should try something different this time, and we did.
So tell me, I mean, because a lot of people say that once they get involved in these shows, that what they think the portrayal of themselves is going to be is often different than what happens through editing and other TV tricks. So is that true or no?
I think so. You kind of, what you film, and then all of a sudden you're like, ooh, that is not what I said to her. You leave it up to the producers and, the editors to just edit you the way they feel the audience, will have the best response. And that's not always in the best interest of yourself. So there are a lot of times where I'm like, that is not what I said, or that is not the look I gave her. I was not looking at her, So it's interesting. And that's why I think one of the reasons why I don't watch the show is because it's not me. And, a lot of times I tell our audience or my fans, I'm like, listen, guys, they have tens of thousands of hours of film, and they have to, narrow that down to 1 hour. That's a lot of picking and choosing and cutting out and this and that, and things that I feel like are important never even made the show. So I'm like, oh, okay.
Charity work you did, and that, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, well, didn't I just give away 300 turkeys? I'm like, that's not cool, I'm like, dang. So, stuff like that, it's just really frustrating. So, I think this time around, leaving the show for me really isn't that big of a deal.
So what do you say to young women who look at these shows and kind of emulate, and as a mother, as a wife now, as a sister, daughter, all that kind of stuff? What do you say to women about the reality of it, and young women who want to be like you guys when they grow up, whether it's the true you or not?
Yeah, no, that's always kind of a sticky point for me because I get a lot of young fans, that are talking about, we love you and how do I meet a basketball player and this, and I'm like, well, guys, I graduated from college, like please don't think that I was, in the club and but it's really frustrating because a lot of times the portrayal of us isn't in a positive light. We get the most views when there's a fight on the show, and that's really frustrating to me because I do want to continue to be a role model, and I do want to, use this platform to show young women that education is important, and you don't always have to rely on a man and all, So it's a lot of points that I would love to make, but it's difficult to do on this show. So whenever I get a fan or I can talk to some young girl, I take a moment out of my time to do so and just let her know that everything she sees is real. And I've known Matt since I was 12. It wasn't like he picked me up outside of a bar or on the corner somewhere. It's just so I just make sure that they know that self-worth is really just the most important. And it may not always be a basketball player. You just find love wherever it's at. So I always try to make sure that I talk to young women, especially because you're just so impressionable. I don't want them to get the wrong idea.
So who are you never talking to again from the show?
I find myself probably, Malaysia and I had such a hard time, since the very first season. Poor thing.
Yes.
It was just such a bad way to start a relationship. So I honestly, I don't see myself. Of course, we run in the same circles, with her being a basketball wife as well. So it's not like I'm never going to see her, but I just probably won't go out of my way to talk to her. I'll be like, hey, girl. All right, then. It'll be one of those.
But it as it ends up, been a really good platform for you to start some other things. Like I said in the beginning, you have a cookbook coming out and you have a movie coming out. So let's talk about some of that stuff. Tell me about Clean Ops.
Clean Ops it's a short webisode digital series, and it's a prelude actually to a motion picture. And it's basically about a female assassin, who obviously does her thing at night, and then she's a professional ballet dancer during the day. It's kind of like The Professional meets Salt, we definitely, you know what I mean? It's really cool. To take the two, because she has the same kind of backstory as Angelina Jolie did. She was in a foster home and her parents were taken away from her, that kind of thing. So it was an amazing experience. I worked out 3 times a day, every day for a month straight. And I learned Taekwondo and kickboxing and ballet. It was awesome. And it premieres on YouTube. It's actually, the trailer's on YouTube, but we're doing a premiere for it at the end of the month. So I'm super excited about that.
All right, and the cookbook?
Yeah, girl, bet you didn't know I can cook, huh?
I didn't know. No, that's another thing we didn't get. So what is the cookbook about, and why are you so passionate about cooking?
Honestly, I know this sounds funny, but I just started cooking maybe about 5 years ago, and I'm the youngest of 9, so I never had to learn to cook. I was always well, I'm hungry, and if you don't feed me, I'm gonna tell mom and dad. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So feed me. But when my own were like, hey, I'm hungry, I was like, I gotta feed you. I was like, oh, that's how this works, Yeah. So a passion of mine. I would just put music on in the kitchen and I would just get lost in it. So it's just become, and Matt's a really good cook, so we both do that. That's our thing we do together. And basically the cookbook is just about, I'm mixed, I'm Black and Mexican, Matt's Black and Italian. So we've taken all of our heritages and we've taken those, the recipes that our grandma and our moms have, and we've just basically modernized them. We've taken out the Crisco, and the lard and all that. We replaced it, with some good seasoning. It still tastes good, but and it's just become, it's my baby now. I've been working on it for about a year, so I'm really excited that that's finally out, and, available, and so I'm really excited about it.
Okay, so what's the name of it?
It's called Gloria Govan, A Mixed Girl's Favorite Recipes.
I love it. I love it. Okay. Well, I am so glad that you could take some time out and get some things cleared up, and I wish you the best of luck. I did check out the trailer, so I'm very excited.
You like it? You don't have to laugh.
I did.
You like it? Okay.
I did like it. No, I love action, and to see women kicking butt, I'm down for it.
Yeah,
So.
no, I was really excited. You know, they don't have like a Latina, action thing, So I'm like, I'll fill that void, no problem. Let me know.
Absolutely. So when the movie comes out, you'll have to talk to us again.
Absolutely. We'd actually love to have you guys out. So thanks again. I mean, anything, it's been such a pleasure and I really appreciate it. So anything else, I mean, I'm here.
Okay,
So,
definitely. Thank you so much, Gloria Govan. We've gone beyond the studio with her, learned all about what she's doing right here on Tom Joyner TV.